10 years ago, the idea of a Chinese luxury flagship competing with a Mercedes S-Class sounded unrealistic. Materials weren't trusted, engineering wasn't respected, brand confidence simply wasn't there. That was the narrative. But progress doesn't argue, it compounds. This is the Maextro S800, and whether you like it or not, it forces a serious conversation about where modern grand touring is heading. The S800 is not a sports sedan. It isn't chasing emotional performance or track credibility. It is a full-scale flagship built around distance. Over 5.5 meters long, executive proportions, wide stance, substantial mass. Cars this size usually struggle with composure. Too much weight, too much inertia, too much correction at speed. That's where this becomes interesting. Huawei's intelligent chassis constantly scans the road ahead and adjusts suspension before impact, not after. Rear-wheel steering turns up to 16 degrees, more than most European flagships, shrinking the car's footprint in tight spaces without making it feel artificial. At highway speeds, the body remains level. No float, no exaggerated pitch, no synthetic stiffness pretending to be sportiness. It feels planted. And planted is what a real grand touring car should feel like at 140 kilometers per hour. If you appreciate breakdowns that focus on how a car behaves, not just how it looks, subscribe. This channel isn't about shouting game over, it's about understanding what actually changed. Now let's talk about power. The dual motor setup produces around 530 horsepower, with higher trims pushing well beyond that. But the number isn't the story, delivery is. Acceleration builds progressively. There's no sudden torque spike engineered for drama. At sustained speed, the drivetrain feels relaxed, unstressed. It feels like it could continue indefinitely. That's the difference between performance and composure. Inside, the direction becomes even clearer. This isn't minimalist and it isn't chaotic. It's layered, deliberate, controlled. The materials are substantial. The seating prioritizes posture over aggressive bolstering. Wind and road noise are filtered carefully. After 2 hours of driving, the cabin doesn't overstimulate you. The AI assistant doesn't demand robotic commands. It interprets context. That reduces friction. And friction over distance becomes fatigue. That's something many traditional luxury brands still underestimate. The advanced driver system integrates LiDAR, cameras, and radar. But again, numbers don't matter. Behavior does. Lane changes feel deliberate. Highway cruising requires less steering correction. Construction zones don't create sudden instability. It doesn't replace the driver, it reduces workload. That is modern luxury. Now we address the uncomfortable part. The Maextro S800 starts at roughly the equivalent of $100,000. Even fully equipped, it remains positioned below most ultra-luxury European flagships. At that price point, buyers typically consider the Mercedes S-Class, the BMW 7 Series, or entry-level Maybach territory. The difference here isn't badge heritage, it's technological density, and that changes the value equation. This isn't about East versus West, it's about priorities. While many brands optimized for emotional performance, this optimized for effort reduction. Predictive suspension, reduced steering correction, lower cognitive load, long-distance composure. That's evolution. So here's the real question. If this car were sitting next to an S-Class at similar pricing, would you trust the engineering shift or would you still choose the legacy badge? I want your honest answer in the comments. And if you prefer calm, analytical breakdowns instead of hype-driven car content, subscribe. Because next, we're looking at the Yangwang U7, and that conversation goes even deeper into stability and control.